welcome back to the channel.
Uh,
Tell them what we're talking about today.
yeah, so today we wanted to talk about some parenting toddler tips. It's something that will help you get through the day and something that might help overall in, helping to
Yeah,
raise your toddler.
obviously, if you guys been following, we're pregnant with baby number 2, but our daughter's like right there in the middle of toddlerhood. She'll be 2 in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And it's just a few things that we just realize make our lives easier in the toddler stage. The first one is what you said, the first thing that you said when we talked about it, which is like making sure that you and your partner are on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
Because like even though you think that your kid is still young and you're still navigating and they realize because Anna's, like I said, she'll be 2 in 2 weeks and she already tries the mom against dad thing where
Mm-hmm.
like if I tell her no to something, she'll be like dada and try to be all sweet, and Sam has to be like, no, your mom said you can't do that or you can't have that, and then she'll try the reverse where she'll be like mama, and I'll be like, no, me and dad said. So she sees whether or not we're on the same page even at such a young age.
And it's important to to preface that you guys need to have these kind of conversations early, even like before you have kids, and always revisit these conversations. It's not like you have this conversation once. As much as we all like life to be that simple, it's not. You can have this conversation throughout your relationship from beginning to the middle, because things change and different circumstances are going to come up. So
also, like, I realize now that we are parents, yes, you should have those conversations just to get a general sense of how your partner wants to raise kids, how you want to raise kids together. That is important. Those are important premarital conversations. However, you do have to keep that conversation going, because now I realize like there are things that come up with Anna or with being a parent that we didn't know we had to discuss, because we didn't know that it was a thing. We didn't know it was going to even come up, like, because we didn't know what it was going to be like to raise our kids. Mm-hmm. And even if you speak to other people that have kids, they can give you general advice, mm-hmm. but how they are with raising their kids or how their kids are may not be how your kid is. So even like having our second baby, like I don't know if everything we did with Anna that we even liked, if we could do it again exactly the same, because we don't know if our second baby is going to be different in some ways that we'd have to adjust, and we're not going to know that until she comes and she grows herself. Yeah. So some things may be the same, some things we might have to adjust just because she's a different person. And you have to, you want to treat your kids the same, but you also want to realize that they are different people and give them what they need as people too, because obviously they're different human beings. So yeah, that also goes with it. And then I said, you were saying like about routine and things like that, and I said keep a flexible routine.
Yeah, it's important to have structure, but you can't be too rigid, because connecting to the last point, things are going to change whether you like them or not, and so you have to be, like you said, flexible. You have to be willing to move things around. It's not going to be like every day, at 6 a.m. X is going to happen. They have to do this. You have to do that. No.
But also I think that goes with age as well, because like as a newborn, I think the routine is more rigid and kind of has to be, because the newborn has to eat every 3 hours and will cry if they don't. Whereas Anna's more flexible. Obviously she does stay to a certain schedule, and routine is important, and she even follows her routine. Like she even has learned the routine and kind of expects it to a certain extent. So that is important. But I say keep flexibility as well, because the days are going to be different. You have to be able to adjust, and you want to teach your children that as well.
Right. So like if, let's say, okay, for example, normally you would have lunch at 3 o'clock. If it's in the same time window, if your toddler or kids want to eat at 2:30, 2 o'clock, or 3, be flexible. Like, okay, or 4 o'clock. As long as you're not, and it could be just one day. It's not the end of the world. There are things to move around.
Yeah, and that also depends on your kid, like what is their routine and how adaptable are they and what their personality is. And some kids, I know some people that have toddlers that their child literally still takes a nap every day at the same time. Anna's in a stage right now where she takes a nap some days, not every day at the same time. She'll just kind of fall out whenever she does, and some days she totally skips her nap and she's kind of fine. Like it doesn't really affect her. She kind of sleeps through the night regardless. She sleeps through the night if she takes a nap. She sleeps through the night if she doesn't. The only time that we have an issue is if we let her sleep too long, but she's even gotten to the point where she doesn't sleep too long. She wakes herself up from her nap. Um, she basically does, but like she can also go without a nap at this stage, and some like sleep experts have said that that's not good, and I don't think it's good for certain kids, like if it's making them overtired or something. But I also know that even my mom said that at Anna's age, I didn't really take naps. So it could just be a personality thing, or I don't know. I mean, I don't really, um, like at this stage, she's pretty good with sleeping, and so I don't really stress it too much. Like she's taking a nap right now. She kind of fell out herself. Obviously today she had a busier morning because she had swimming. So usually on swim days she will always take a nap just because she's tired, and that's fine. Um, and the next one I said, which is really, I mean, Sam does it too, but because I'm home with Anna, I think I do it more, which is introducing new activities that keep your toddler busy while growing and learning. Mm-hmm. So one thing I do with Anna pretty regularly is like an arts and craft project because she's pretty creative and she likes it, and that seems to be like something that she enjoys. But I try to change it up on what we're doing. That's why for her birthday, we all kind of bought her different toddler-friendly arts and crafts to kind of introduce her to different things. But we also go for walks, and we also, play with Charlie and our dog, and we also, every so often I'll introduce a new activity that I see online or that another parent recommends to me and see how she reacts to those things. But I feel like nowadays our kids have enough screen time with there's nothing wrong with screen time, but when it comes to activities, I like to move it off the screen because I feel like they get enough screen time just when we're busy or in general, like the way the society is. So for activities, I like to do more textile stuff, arts and crafts, or like I saw something about like rainbow rice on a TikTok, which I'm gonna try because Anna really likes pouring things. She's into this like phase where she likes to fake cook and play with like pots and pans and those type of things. So I thought she would do like the rainbow rice, but obviously I have to kind of like DIY make it and then introduce the activity. So yeah, finding different activities both in the house and outdoors, because you're not always going to be able to go out, but you also want to take them out, finding different things, exposing them to different things, and kind of honing in on that creativity and learning, because they're in such a stage of learning and creativity from the ages of 1 to 3 that you want to like explore that and nurture it.
And so, a little add-on to that is when you find that particular activity for your kid about what they might like, make it your own, because at the end of the day, not to say it like this, but like anybody can really just find a project that is painting, but try to make it like very unique to what you would only do with your kid. That way that imprints itself for something unique and always something to look forward to.
Yeah. The next one is something you said about the patience.
Yes, so definitely you need to have a lot of patience, not only with your toddler but with one another, because in this stage with Anna right now, like she tends to scream a lot, and not on purpose, but like she'll yell and
and we're not only talking about tantrums when we say that.
Yeah,
sometimes she's yelling for fun.
Yeah,
she literally, I think there's a video where you guys heard her in the background. Sometimes she'll literally run laps around our living room screaming, and she's having the time of her life.
Yeah, and sometimes when you're trying to talk to one another, you're trying to talk over the screaming, and then you get frustrated because you get to repeat yourself, and then you get angry. You don't want to take it out on one another. So definitely be more patient. Take a deep breath, because at the end of the day, you have a toddler, so that could be from a range of age, right? So that it can range. So just be patient.
Yeah.
Always revisit, take a step back, so you don't.
And be patient with your kids too. That goes into another tip that I'm going to say later. But in general, like they're still learning too. Even though they're older, they're not like a baby. I mean, they're still a baby, but not a baby in the sense of like a newborn or a few months old. But they're still learning. They're still young, and they're communicating better. So sometimes we see them as like, oh, well, you know what we're talking about. But at the same time, they're still learning themselves. So you have to teach them, and teach them with patience as well. And then the other thing is make sure you're building independence. Mm-hmm. So if you see that your kid can do something on their own, don't do it for them anymore. Like one thing that Anna does really well, like when we come home, like part of our routine, she knows that when we come home, we take off our jackets, we take off our shoes, because we don't wear shoes in the house, so we don't run around the house in shoes. And that's all of us, not just her. We take off our shoes because we don't wear shoes in the house. So she's learned how to do that on her own. So now we don't take off her jacket for her. We don't take off her shoes for her. She comes in the door like all of us and does it herself.
Yeah.
And since she knows how to do it herself, we let her do it.
Granted, she does it like, you know, how a lot of every other child, like, she'll come in, she'll drop the bag on the floor, she'll take off the thing and just like, here, throw it off to the side.
But then when you tell her to go put it in her room and put it away, she does do it.
She does do that, exactly. So it takes time. You know, building onto that, building independence. You know, so a lot of the time when we give her baths, well, it used to be very strenuous because, you know, you have to grab everything and it becomes difficult. Now, like, at Building Independence, Anna helps me out with it. Like, here, go put the soap, go put this on, wherever. She'll literally go grab all the supplies herself. Yeah. So you don't have to do. So gradual independent, and you teach them as you do this.
Yeah, another thing that goes with routine and independence, I think having a routine, even if it is flexible, builds on independence, because then the kid kind of knows what to expect and they start to learn, like, oh, this is what we do. Like every morning when Anna wakes up, I go to her crib, I say good morning. She knows the routine is she has to change a diaper, brush her teeth. So she literally lays down for me and I do it. And then she knows that our routine when Sam's not home, when he's working, is I take her out her crib, and since it's only me, usually when it's both of us, you know, one of us will play with her while the other makes breakfast. But since she knows it's only me at home on the weekdays, she knows I can't play with her and make breakfast. So she literally goes to the couch and she'll watch a show or she'll play with Charlie while I make breakfast. And she knows that breakfast is coming. Mm-hmm. There was a point earlier in her toddlerhood where she didn't know that and realize that. And she would scream all through me making breakfast and cry about how hungry she is. But now she knows if I just sit on the couch and watch my show or play with the dog, Mom's going to be making me breakfast. Mom's not going to let me starve. Mom is in the kitchen making me breakfast. I just have to sit here and relax and breakfast is going to come. And, you know, she feeds herself now, so that's a level of independence. She does a lot of things independently, honestly. Like, even I've always looked forward to baking with my kid, and I didn't think she was old enough to do it, but she started helping us. I mean, obviously, when it comes to kitchen stuff, you have to monitor more and you know, watch them, and they can't like use knives or anything at that age. But like she'll mix the batter for me. She seems interested in cooking, so we've incorporated her in an age appropriate way when it comes to that. But so obviously you still have to monitor and do things age appropriately, but just allowing her to have that independence, like picking out her clothes. She got mad at Sam the other day because she's used to us letting her pick out her clothes. Then he just kind of got the clothes. He wasn't thinking about it. We were just getting ready. And you got the clothes.
And she got so mad.
And she got mad because she was like, hey, I thought I'd pick out my own clothes. And then she did. She picked out a different outfit that she actually wanted to wear. So I think I didn't do that until I was a little bit older. My mom didn't let me start picking out my clothes until I was a little bit older. But she seems to like it, and it's not a big deal. So we let her. Mm-hmm. She actually has some good fashion sense, so it's not too bad. And the last one, the last two kind of go together, which I said, don't worry about the small stuff and have fun while parenting. So don't worry about the small stuff. It's like, for example, I really like keeping a clean house, but I also have a toddler and about to have a newborn. And so the house does get messy, like literally every day. Do we clean it and fix it up and make it like what we like and how we want to live? Of course, because it's important that for your kids to learn chores, and it's important for your mental health, for your house to be clean, and you know, it's just important. But during the day, I don't worry about it. If Anna makes a mess, I'm not going to make a big deal of it.
And when they do, and in the event that they do make a mess, like Justine said, don't make a big deal about it. Like, so, like, quite literally, like, if she drops a bowl of cereal and, you know, like, she'll look as if she's gonna get in trouble, but no one here yells or anybody about any of that stuff. So you're just like, oh, it's okay. All
also,
right, don't cry over spilled milk. Quite literally, don't cry over it.
That's also an opportunity to foster independence, because now when she spills water or milk or whatever, I just tell her, okay, let's get the paper towels, and then she'll clean it up herself.
Yeah, she'll do it.
And she actually does a pretty decent job. Sometimes you have to kind of go over the little spot, you know.
But she'll take responsibility for it. Exactly.
But also, like, some people don't, and it's like, it's your decision. I'm not going to say this is wrong because it's your house and it's your decision. But in general, some people are like really like, they don't want to buy their kids arts and crafts. Like I said, Anna really loves arts and crafts. That's something that I think she is a creative person, and I feel like it's something she's exploring. But some people don't like buying their kids arts and crafts just because it's messy, and they're like, nope, I don't want it in my house because I don't want to deal with the mess. I'd rather have the fun memory and clean up the mess later I think it's a small price to pay, and you can obviously make sure like we're only doing arts and craft in this side of the house or something like that. Don't run around with the paint and paint the walls.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like, let's put a hole in the wall. Let me clean it up. No, that's not. Let's be serious.
But and like for our if we're doing something really messy, sometimes I cover our table with like a little plastic tablecloth or something like that. That way we can make the mess and make the cleanup easier. Things like that will just make your life easier. But in general, just don't sweat the small stuff. If your kid is having fun and learning and exploring and growing, is what I mean. And make sure you're having fun being a parent, because every stage of your kid is fun in a different way and will go so fast. So.
And one thing that's really been sticking with me, and I've been noticing it every day ever since we started rewatching The Virgin, which is like every day you're with your kid, it feels like years, like in terms of how they're doing, whether they're crying, whether they're having fun, it feels like years. But in real, outside, when you take a step back and you realize every year that passes overall, and every year feels like days.
Yeah, that's the saying that in parenting, the days feel like years and the years feel like days.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it's like we were like, wow, we're just with her. She was literally in our hands like literally 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, whoa.
My phone, so like how Google gives you the memories. My phone did a memory of her like growing up in the first year, and she was like so little. And now we're gonna have another little one, but it doesn't stop the fact that like she's growing up too.
So really embrace that, like to have fun. Take it in, because the days are passing really quickly.
So that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope it gave a different perspective, or maybe even some help for somebody who's struggling or just doesn't know what to do with their toddler, or is about to embark on that toddlerhood stage. Maybe your kid's like literally about to turn 1 or whatever, and you just need some ideas on how to keep this new little busy moving person busy and growing and learning.
Yes. Please like, share, subscribe, drop a comment and let us know what you think. If you have additional tips, or if you want us to tackle a different topic regarding toddlers.